me go. All right. And we're live. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
There we're live. Let me just make sure the audio is working.
Yep, sounds good.
Let's see. And we're live. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Yeah, the audio is working well. All right. Let's do this. Shout out to everyone who's in the chat. I think we have like quite a few people watching.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. You can see everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for the. It's all right. All right, James or JimBean. How are you? How are
Yeah,
you
you
today?
can call me James. Yeah.
James.
Not too bad. Not too bad. And how you doing, Jason?
Pretty well. Pretty well. All right. So the first question I really wanted to ask you is, how did you get into iOS development?
Well, that's a long story. I think that started from like a college. I took a one mobile engineer class, and it was really exciting because first of all, at that time it was like iPhone 3, and the iPhone started to become really popular. So I was like, that's something that's really interesting, you know. So I took that class. Then I started creating a mobile application with the camera. I think the first application used was like AV Foundation stuff. So I was digging really deep into like creating the audio, camera, everything from scratch. I remember I spent hours creating the UI, tweaking the UI stuff, and it was super exciting. I would say. Then after that, we have a presentation during the class, and it was super exciting because I can see how people reacting to the final product. Some people maybe feel like it can be improved. Some people might have some different opinion about it. Some people just straight up the applications. So that actually motivates me to get into the mobile application more. And on another hand, I would say Steve Jobs. He's a really inspirational figure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my role model at the time. I think it still is. So that's basically how I get started. That's my journey, and ever since that, and then just slowly taking off.
Yeah. And what? Were you using UIKit or was it Objective C? When you
Oh
started?
yeah, it was Objective C. It was not
Oh
that
wow.
old, but it's like I think it was second or third generation Objective C. I remember we don't have to do like what's it called again, to removing the memory from the pole from the arc. I think it was the version right after that. But yeah, that was pretty exciting. But there's a lot of things going on in Objective C, as you know. There's
Yeah.
a bracket and semicolon. I had a lot of times trying to figure out stuff just because of semicolon.
Yeah.
So
Man. And how have you with the evolution of Swift? Are you grateful that we have like UIKit and Swift UI now?
oh yeah, I think Swift UI definitely made a huge difference. I remember I learned Swift UI myself because I thought, you know, it's a new language. I don't go to school anymore and just like trying to figure out stuff like everybody else today on Twitter, or people trying to learn themselves, right? So I created like a sample app. I didn't know how to do that in Swift yet, so I would just go for it, you know.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, then you fix them, then you achieve the goal, then finally, boom, then there's a product.
Yeah.
Even though the product, it was kind of like bad from my like if I look at the product today, but overall, I think that was a really good experience. You learn a lot through the way from the mistakes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I think with coding and like programming and iOS development specifically, or I think in general, like if you're always learning and like improving, like you'll look back at a project you did 6 months ago or like a year ago, and you'll be like, "Wow, what is it?"
yeah, exactly. Especially you haven't touched for a while, and you forgot about the comments,
Yeah,
comment in your code, and you go back try to fix a bug, especially. Have fun to spend a few more hours, maybe a few days.
yeah, yeah. That's why. I mean, that's why I say it's important to like write clean code and make sure it's like
exactly. Yeah.
readable and maintainable.
Yeah, I remember spending a lot of time trying to figure out how exactly the MVC works at the time because I just get started, and I know MVC was a huge thing. I mean, MVC for anybody don't know is like model view controller is a design pattern that Apple introduced. Especially Apple was heavily using that in their SDKs as well. So that was something I spent hours trying to figure out. And I remember I wrote everything in the view controller, everything.
Yeah.
UI, logic, networking, everything just threw in there. I think that that's how everybody started. So
Yeah, for sure. And when on your journey to becoming an iOS developer, what was the most challenging part for you?
most challenging part, there's actually a lot. I remember there was once I think the most challenging part might be at the very beginning when you just start off. Although you probably learn a lot of stuff on your own, but when you actually go to the actual the professional field, the companies might expect a lot from you, and it might be really difficult for you to contribute or doing a lot of things or even to learn because the a business always moving at a really fast pace, right? Like they want you to produce the stuff fast. So that's where you might be like at least I was struggling a little bit. Was I tried to learn and trying to learn from others, even the project I was working on, but it's really difficult because I have to work on features that I don't understand at the time.
Yeah.
Like the logic completely was just super complicated. So, but yeah, that's the most difficult part. But once you, I think after maybe a couple years experience, probably have a more familiarity with the code and the language, everything probably easier.
It, did you? What kind of company was it?
At the beginning, the first one was a company in LA. That it was a no, it's a small company that I work as a
Yeah.
contract to a contractor. Yeah, contractor.
Was it wait?
Yeah.
So was it like a startup or was it like a
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
okay?
I remember their office was super small. Like I think maybe the same, almost maybe similar room to the room you
Yeah,
standing in
yeah.
there. Yeah. So like there's like 5 to 7 people in there. I would say total. So everybody's sitting right next to each other. Everybody pretty easy to catch, like a QA right next to me.
Yeah.
Another senior dad was right behind me, UI UX person. So it was pretty small,
Oh,
but it was kind of fun though. Everybody was pretty friendly. They actually create maybe 4 to 5 apps at that time. They do they spend a lot of time working on the UI stuff, fixing bugs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like if it's very different, like starting at a startup than like a bigger company
Yeah.
that has like a whole onboarding process and like a training thing for new hires.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because at a startup, you're just thrown into the fire and you
Yeah,
gotta learn.
that's true. Yeah, they expect a lot from you, but I think at that time it's really hard to have a big corporation or big company hire you, especially you're just starting off. You don't have too much experience. Another thing I don't really understand, or maybe just me, is a lot of company expecting new hires to have at least 1 year professional experience.
Yeah.
That's kind of how people are supposed to have that experience if they're just starting off. So,
Yeah.
so how about you? I mean, what's your experience?
My experience.
Yeah.
So I ended up at like a bigger company.
Okay.
Pfizer. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Not the vaccine, but
Okay.
they're a fintech company,
Okay.
and that them being like a bigger company, like they have like an established process for things. So that helped me with the onboarding process, and like they gave me time to like understand it, and especially since like the code base was like half of it is an Objective C.
Okay.
So so that at first I was like, whoa, because I had mostly focused on like Swift and
Yes.
UI kit.
Yeah.
And thankfully though, the Objective C is like once you get over like the whole difference, it's pretty like similar, and you just have to recognize like the patterns.
Yeah.
between Swift.
Yeah, they're slightly different, and I think a lot of old code in Objective C they actually just programmatically creating UIs. I think that was the older way to do things. Not until Swift started to introduce like storyboards and all the stuff.
Yeah.
Um, then they started to writing everything in the storyboard and the UI kit stuff. But personally speaking, what's your opinion between like programmatically creating UI and the storyboards?
Oh. Well, to be honest, I prefer the programmatic way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I don't, it's probably just I got a habit because when I was learning to become an iOS developer, like I knew that programmatic would be the best way to the best way to learn. Oh, I thought it would be the best way to learn since most companies would prefer you to know programmatic instead of like storyboards.
yeah,
Because storyboards, it's I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a lot easier, and yeah, that's
yeah.
why I stuck with programmatic. So I'm guessing you like the storyboards more.
Yeah, I find that pretty easy. I did both the programmatic and the storyboards. At first, was I think I spent more time on trying to figure out the constraint parts. Whenever you try to programmatically creating UI,
Mhm.
because you have to calculate, the distance and things like that, test it back and forth to review your code if they're
Yeah.
showing up correctly. Especially you have different sizes phones. I think back then they have even smaller ones. It's more difficult. But today, I think after that, I started doing more storyboards. I realized there's a lot of UI code you can just you don't need them in the code anymore. The all the layout in the storyboard pretty much handles everything for you. You just need to tell the storyboard what to show and how to show it. That's it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think yeah, depending on people, some people will maybe prefer the programmatically more. But I think Swift UI definitely helps that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and not completely change your mindset on how you're supposed to code. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what projects or things are you working on now as an iOS developer?
Professionally or personally?
Whichever you prefer to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Professionally, I would say basically working for this company. They're working on like a tourist industry stuff. So it's mainly working on a lot of application that's targeting and focusing on like a different maybe park and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So they actually involve a lot of UI work and a lot of time sensitive features because park they constantly open, especially summer coming up. A lot of people want to go to park and things like that. So we have more urgent feature want to show off, and UI need to be updated, and also a lot of bugs since it's park
Yeah.
application. There's a lot of logic in there. For example, maybe you want to buy a food through the application. You want to buy a ticket, maybe waiting in line for rides, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a lot of logic, especially involve like different time zones and timers.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like for amusement parks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting actually. And especially summertime coming up, it's
Yeah.
going to be super busy with a lot of feature, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find out more bugs along the way because more people start to use the applications.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and on another side, I think personally, yeah, just creating another application and trying to help me out, and maybe somebody else can benefit from that too. Just a finance a budgeting application, because I find it really difficult trying to put all my finance budgeting stuff on my phone, notes, or even in a document. So
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of application out there for that purpose, but I tried so many of them. I don't find the exactly one that fits my need. So
Yeah.
I figure, well, might as well just create my own, then share with the world if they want to use it. So
Yep. That's nice to hear. Now let's transition like into crypto stuff.
sure.
And one the first is for iOS developers. What would you recommend for them if they wanted to get into crypto and maybe like Web3 development? Would you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I think the first thing anyone want to get into Web3 crypto stuff as a iOS engineer, you probably want to start to get to learn some basic blockchain technologies. From there on, you probably have a better understanding on the how the blockchain technology work and the architecture, so you can find a way to integrate that into the mobile applications. Or, for example, since blockchain technology is more like a verifying a transaction and all this stuff, you can technically have I don't know. For example, maybe you have some kind of purchase stuff in your application, um, or maybe we can use another example, like a Square, like the company Square.
Mhm.
Um, of course, you're not gonna have something directly into like a mobile application, but more like a backend technology. But mobile can definitely help on that end. Um, like you can integrating the blockchain technology into like the backend services to verify payment processing and all that stuff, and then at the same time you can connecting all the feature and expanding more feature on the mobile side to show user about blockchain crypto stuff, potentially expanding that. You can connecting mobile application with I think Coinbase have a SDK, and you can directly connect to the mobile applications. I did spend some time to look up if you can connect to any wallets. If you don't know any other language than Swift or Objective C, so but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be those are some cool like starter projects if people want to get into like crypto and stuff. Like
yeah,
creating your own wallet, like an app that serves as a wallet,
yeah,
uh,
exactly.
or and something that connects to like the Coinbase SDK.
Yeah, Coinbase SDK. I think they have a Coinbase Wallet SDK. You can integrate that into the mobile application. Have you log into your wallet? I think they also allow you to pull in some information from there, so you can pull it into your own mobile applications. Maybe you can also integrate with MetaMask as well. Then you can have a centralized place, for example, a centralized place you can show up all your cryptos, NFTs, and something in there, in that field. So
And one thing I want to note to the listeners or viewers, I dropped a link in the chat to for like the hoodie giveaway. If you guys
oh, okay.
so just it's a Google form, so fill it out, and I want to say at the end of the stream I'll try to do the drawing, but I'm not sure yet because we'll see how like I'll shuffle to randomly pick somebody. And all right, continuing with crypto, there's something that I often think about and really wonder is what do you think is stopping like crypto from mass adoption?
Yeah, the thing I think I heard that question a lot. I think mostly because are people are genuinely afraid of things they don't know. And also that there's a lot of speculation about how crypto are not stable, and then when people are getting their lost money and things like that, so that kind of stopping people from involved and getting to the crypto world. But I think another thing maybe is due to lack of regulation on it, but that kind of a kind of against the idea of decentralization as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's like a lot of factors at play, right? And it's like because I can see like the technology has like its benefits, right? Like the
right,
decentralized, like somebody can't come and just say, "Oh, you don't have money anymore," right? Like
yeah,
so those benefits are there, but then like the regulation and there's already
yeah.
like so many big players.
Yes, I think the technology itself is actually really secure. But the only thing that we cannot control is people. There's a lot of scam out there for sure. If they want to scam you, like if you fall for the scam, then you send your cryptocurrency. That's pretty much it. Like you cannot get your money back. There's no way to get back because the systems are designed in a way you will the person who received the money will 100% guarantee to receive that. There's no revert. Unlike central banking, there's a centralized people or organization that actually watch over all the stuff. So I think that, and that's another thing is like people are some people like scammers are taking advantage of cryptocurrencies. But I think over time, maybe give another 5 to 10 years, who knows? So maybe we'll find out a way to stop those scams, so people are more confident to join the crypto. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because then you kind of have to bring in some type of regulation, right? So there will probably have to be like a middle line because like the full decentralized system. I mean, it might be possible, but it's very difficult, especially to be
yeah,
like massively adopted without having like the scammers or people just taking advantage of and creating loopholes with it.
yeah, it's like I don't know if you saw recently on Twitter. There's a Pepe token, the frog,
Yeah.
is being super popular in the past about a couple weeks, and I noticed that, and I also saw there was a whole bunch of other like alternative token that's exactly similar, or people pretending to be that token, then posting tweets to ask people, oh, here's like a free airdrop, come to sign up and then claim your free airdrops. Like no, they didn't do any free airdrop, but it's really interesting though for people who really want to get in there, try to make some money out of it. Then of course, then people gonna fall for it, then it's gonna drain your wallet. So
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you about that too, because I see you tweeting a lot about Pepe, right? The Pepe coin.
yeah,
What's
yes,
the
yeah.
story behind it?
I think it started with just a meme, like on the internet. I think it started from Reddit. Then eventually, somebody created a token, I guess, about like maybe 2 weeks ago, and it started taking off because people was really, really interested in the meme tokens like culture and uh, a community online. I mean, overall, like it is a good idea. People get together, talk about the things, and have fun, enjoy the life together online. But it just unfortunately sometimes some people taking advantage of that too. So there was one story. The There was one time there was a group of people on the Twitter space that was talking about the Pepe coins, or token at actually Pepe token. So they actually spend like hours talking. Then at some point, like middle of the night, because the passion of the people, the host was actually fall asleep. Then somebody actually left the Twitter space at nighttime, maybe early 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Then when they wake up, check on the phone that Twitter space is still there. So the person thought like, oh, they're really passionate, like the
Yeah.
talk still talking about it. So then he joined it. Then he realized in the Twitter space there's like a 200-300 people there. They all just fall asleep. So that's how much the passion of
Yeah.
the meme coin community is. So
What is it? Do you know what it is? Where it is right now?
the price for that,
Yeah. Is
I
is it
think
like very small where you can't really? It's like below a penny.
yeah, it is
Oh,
like 0.50 and 1857, and I think it's gonna taking off again soon, probably because, well, another day Elon Musk tweet about something, then there's a Pepe meme in there, so
yeah.
this Twitter currently is going crazy on it. So.
Um, where can people buy some Pepe coin if they wanna if they wanna get in on the
I
on
think
the?
I can probably share the official link on here. Share the link with you here. Then
Because maybe I'll buy some and I'll look back on
yeah,
this and
who knows? You might
yeah.
become like a millionaire or something.
No, yeah, maybe. Probably not though.
Yeah, I think you can search on Twitter on there as Pepe. I think it was ETH. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I can send you the link after the stream.
Alright. And I
But
think
yeah, just for whoever out there want to buy Pepe Coin, just make sure whenever you purchase it, double check the link, everything. There's no airdrop, there's no free token, anything. If you saw any of that, it's pretty much a scam. So just stay away from that because you don't
Yeah.
want to get your wallet drained.
Yeah.
And this is not like any financial advice. So
It's not financial advice.
yep,
Yeah, definitely important to say that.
yep.
Um, I think I saw in your profile you have a, or you're working on like a development agency, an app development agency. Is
Oh
it?
yeah, so basically, yeah, we just have a small a business. Just trying to do some mobile work on the side. If there's anybody need help with anything, so that's pretty much it. And also, it helps with my own mobile applications on the App Store. It just look a little bit more legitimate compared to put my own name on it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
How's that going? The agency.
it's going okay. I would say. I
Yeah.
still need a lot of work. So
Yeah, I figured it's a lot because is it just you?
yeah, just me for now.
Ah, yeah. Then
Yeah.
then it's definitely a lot of work, right? Because you have to put on so many hands, or what's the word? What's the term?
Heads.
Hats. There we go.
Yeah.
Hats. You have to put on so many hats. And what's for the app agency? What's like your? Do you prefer the development side or the business side?
I prefer the development side. It's more fun to creating something you love the most. So,
Yeah.
but because of course, in the normal day-to-day job, you just have to work on the project from the company, right? But sometimes you want to create your own stuff. So it's a good idea to have some side project that you can explore more of your skills and finding out more interesting stuff from the Apple technologies, and show off your mobile applications with everybody who love those uh, iOS apps.
Mhm.
Because I actually saw a lot of people posting a lot of their apps on the iOS community. That's actually pretty cool. I saw some really cool apps out there too. So
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys aren't a part of it, you guys should join the iOS community on Twitter.
yeah,
There's a
we
community
try
there.
to help a lot of people on there every day.
Yeah. And so if you were starting the journey of becoming an iOS developer today, what do you think your route would be? What would you do?
Well, I would say to learn as much as Swift UI possible, and creating at least maybe a 1 to 3 personal project. It don't have to be a lot. It don't have to be really complicated. As long as you have something that's on the App Store, you can show off to people. That's great. Like, it don't have to be complicated, because people, I think. The only thing that a lot of company today looking for is like if you have the hands-on ability to immediately work on something, since that we know the market is kind of low right now. So yeah, if you have a more skill to show off, compete with others, that definitely helps. But yeah, if you can know Swift UI, and if somehow you also know UI kit, that's even better, because a lot of companies still in UI kits projects, but they're starting thinking and transitioning to Swift UIs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where do you land on like the Swift UI kit thing?
I would pick Swift UI for now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just starting, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a super easy, and MVVM is a kind of new way to go. Swift UI also, in a way, itself kind of like help you to force you to think, uh, like in a way that you have to separate the UI and the logics, because it's really hard to put any logic code in the actual Swift UI code in
Oh,
there.
that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
you could, but it's
Yeah.
really gonna be difficult there.
Yeah. That's very true because I've been playing a lot with Swift UI recently, and yeah, you can't put no logic in the view, and with
Yep.
like UI kit, you could, but you shouldn't. You could have a view controller that has
Yeah, you should.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be a
that'd be too.
humongous and gonna be really complicated. There's a lot of things going on. Yeah, putting logic in there will probably not be a good idea.
All right, James, I appreciate you coming on. Any last words before we wrap up?
I think I would say Happy Mother's Day to
Ah,
all the mothers out there, and enjoy the Sunday.
yeah. I forgot to say that. Yeah, happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day to everyone. Make sure you guys speak to your mom, call your mom or your grandma. You know, tell them
Yep.
hi. But I think it's only for the U.S., right? So if you're not in the U.S.,
I
maybe
think
it's not
so.
better.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
So to the U.S. folks, happy Mother's Day. Appreciate everyone who watched. Is there any questions in the live stream before we wrap up? I don't see any questions. I'll give a few seconds.
Yep.
See. All right. All right. I don't see any questions. If you guys do have a question, you can hit us up on Twitter and drop it in there. What you wanna shout out your Twitter?
Oh yeah, my Twitter will be JimBean lit. Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, JimBean Lit. Follow him on Twitter, and mine is Jason Duban YT. I'll put the Twitter handles in the description of this video, so you guys can follow that. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next.